I just wanted to take a moment and talk to you about Tamun, a bit about why I started it, and also to put in a plug for your help. If you've listened to any of our podcasts, you probably recognize the song that I'm playing for you right now, and I think it just adds a little bit to what I'm saying to you. It's a wonderful piece. If you visit Free Music Archives, you can see more by the artist. I'll put the link in the description. Now, my story, as it were, as much as I hate saying it this way, is I grew up in a rural community in eastern Washington state. Our Jewish population was small then, and it's still small. As such, we had very few opportunities for mitzvot or Yiddishkeit beyond the basics and holidays. In fact, we just hired the first long-term rabbi in the community's history as the only long-term rabbi between Seattle and Spokane. And it was a major step that we weren't even sure we were able to take. So for us, things as simple as a minyan for Shabbat weren't always guaranteed. Now, I first became observant in Denver while I was in college. My university, I should say, had a Hillel right behind my apartment and a Chabad down the street. And it was my experience with Chabad that touched me the most. I was opened up to this whole new world of engaged Judaism, and it absolutely floored me. I began delving into any resource I could find: Torah, Talmud, Mishnah, Tanya, Rambam, and even more recent works. I started reading Rabbi. I started taking on any learning that I could get my hands on. Even though I was an opera student, I'm pretty sure I spent as much time studying Yiddishkeit as I did on music. I was becoming shomer Kashrut, shomer negiah, shomer Shabbat, and I was loving every second of it. And then, for personal, familial, and financial reasons, I was forced to move back home. So I went from having 12 different options on Shabbat and kosher food in my local store to almost nothing. Our shul had services once a month. When the student rabbi was in town, it was very liberal, and by the time I moved back, I was this on fire about tshuva. And there was little Jewish presence or options for engagement in Yiddishkeit. And I'll admit it, I slipped into a depression. I looked for every option to get out, but I couldn't. I had online resources, though, and most importantly, I had a flexible community. It started with the thing I missed most, Friday nights at Chabad. Though, on my end, I admit being apprehensive about leading. Who was I to lead stuff? I was a 24-year-old Baal Tshuva, freshly home from college. I was the only person in the city walking around with kippah and tzitzit in this rural, liberal shul. It was associated with reform, but it was very flexible, and that's what worked. So I called Rabbi Yossi, and I asked him if I was even qualified to do this, and his answer stayed with me. He asked one question: "Are you Jewish?" And of course I answered yes, to which his only response was, "Then you're qualified." So I phoned up our community president and asked if she would mind me doing Friday nights at the shul building, with dinner, songs, and a parsha class in English. And not even a service, just at-home style Erev Shabbos, just in the synagogue building, which happened to be a house as our central location, because I didn't have an apartment that was big enough to handle a lot of guests, and I wanted to take as many people as possible. And she saw nothing wrong with that. In fact, she was very excited that something was going to be happening, because we only had student rabbis once a month during the school year. And so we started Friday night dinners and Torah study, and it was really well received. In fact, I was getting more people every month, and I found a bit of that spark that I'd experienced in Denver. I got some of it back right here at home, sharing Yiddishkeit with other people. Now, full disclosure, I'll say that I started doing this with every intention of moving away still to a bigger community. I was thinking back to Denver or Seattle or even Crown Heights if I could swing it. But there were two things that changed my perspective. The first was I read the Tolushkin biography of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, and I became, at the same time, I gained access to the gem recordings, Verbringens, with subtitles, and I just inhaled both of these things. I read the biography of the Rebbe, and it was so moving who the Rebbe was and what he stood for. And then on top of that, seeing these Verbringen that I didn't have access to. My family were not Lubavitchers. I didn't speak Yiddish. I don't speak Yiddish. And so, to have these speeches by the Rebbe available with subtitles, so you could hear the inflection of the voice, you could hear the passion in his speaking, but also you understood, was just absolutely mind-blowing to me. It helped a lot. And, it caught me again, my soul kind of caught that fire of the Rebbe's kind of outreach, that Jews everywhere should be reached and brought in touch with their own Jewishness. And the community response was the other thing that really helped. I was floored at the amount of the community who responded to these dinners and to the classes. In a town that struggled for once a month minyan, I was getting 10 to 15 people every week. New people were stopping in, and one of our members, an atheist who grew up in Soviet Moscow, came almost every week to study Torah. And it was this time that it hit me. Rural Jews deserve Judaism. Rural Jews deserve Judaism too. And it honestly seems silly to think that they might not, but most rural communities can't support a permanent Rav or a mikveh or convince the local grocery store to carry kosher meat. They might have been raised without much Jewish instruction, and so davening or Torah study just feels alien to them at first. So I came up with an idea with two prongs. First, to provide the resources that I wished I'd had. So I started with a musical venture, fully transliterated with sheet music. As a musician, it really helped me, and I'm currently working on videos, to show the notes as that reminder to help people to bench on their own. And right now I'm currently working on a siddur, Orthodox Minhag Anglia, based on the Singer Siddur from 1915 for copyright purposes. I'm putting in transliteration and instructions that will also be accompanied by a music book. And, and audio versions of the texts, as actual davening with instruction. I know this has been done by other people, but I really wanted a straightforward kind of modern Orthodox view of this, because, Tilas Hashem is a lovely siddur, and I love using it, but some people it doesn't connect to. And Siddur Ashkenaz, the Art Scroll version, is all in Ashkenazis. It's not what we use, that is the Israeli pronunciation. And so I wanted to put this together, and when it comes out, it's looking to come out. I'm looking to bring it out next year. It'll be a fully Orthodox, transliterated Israeli pronunciation, standard transliteration siddur. But I also wanted to start audio versions of texts. Some people can't afford the vast library of Central Jewish texts, So I started a recording Kitzur Shulchan Aruch podcast. Not a class, I'm not a Rav, and I'm still learning myself, so at the very least, I can provide the text. Most people, myself included, are also auditory learners, and absorption comes through repetitive hearing more than reading. So while I encourage everyone to find an in-person or over-the-web class, I also provide this resource to help people learn. Entertainment and environment also fit this, so I started Tehillim meditations, so that even if you're not ready for a study text, you can take that moment of calm and reflection with Jewish poetry. And the second prong and a future goal is raising money to support rural Jewish infrastructure, working to subsidize shipping on kosher meat to allow more access to becoming shomer Kashrut, raising building funds, coordinating guest speakers for rural communities to help these communities catch that same fire that I felt. The special speakers can go a long way to helping a community in a way that YouTube videos just can't. When they speak right to you, it's something special. But why Tamun? Tamun means hidden, and rural Jews often feel a sense of invisibility, both from the Jewish communities they live in, but also from the larger Jewish world. But then, why not just do this under my own name? Become a teaching personality like so many of the YouTube figures in Jewish life today. Because it's not about me. It's about Yiddishkeit. Not that there's anything wrong with people like Rabbi Manis Friedman or YouTube videos of Rav Sachs Zatzal. But from my perspective, it's not about me. It's something greater. However, I still have a family to take care of. And so, while I have the goal of working full-time for rural Jewry, I need your help. Anything you can give on my Patreon is a huge help. It helps pay for equipment. It helps free more of my time from my current day job, allowing me to make more Jewish content and contact companies on communities' behalfs. So please, if you agree with what I'm trying to do and what I've already done, drop in at patreon.com/Tamun. Anything you can give helps. Toda Rabbi.